Hey guys, it's Ash here, Raid Shadow Legends. You're looking at the next Halloween fusion. It is Sanguine Maria. Sanguine Maria. Boy, does she look amazing, huh? I love the Undead Horde aesthetic. Little, I don't know, Siffy meets LMA, maybe? Little Miss Annie? I don't know, but I love her, and her kit is bizarre. Let's check it out. By the way, guys, this is her avatar image as well. Again, I get definitely a Siffy vibe here, right, on the aesthetics? All right, so Sanguine Maria is a Force Affinity Legendary Undead Horde champion. Again, she's the Halloween fusion. I'm gonna give you all the fusion details as well as kind of the press release that Plarium put out talking about how they see players intending to use this champion as well. But first, I wanna review her extremely bizarre kit. Never seen a champion like this ever in Raid Shadow Legends. I will say she appears to be at first glance more PvP, more arena focused. However, I could see her being used in some areas of PvE as well, such as Fire Knight. She is a damage dealer. She's an attack-based champion, and we don't know the multipliers, but we do see some very intriguing things in her kit. So let's start with the A1, Hematic Blades. By the way, her name Sanguine Maria is interesting because sanguine means optimistic and positive for an undead horde, but it's usually like optimistic and positive in like kind of a crappy situation, so it does make sense. I like the name. Sanguine Maria. No? Sanguine Maria, Ave Maria, Sanguine, no? Oh, sorry. All right, Hematic Blades, triple hitter. Each hit has a 33% chance of granting an extra turn, cannot gain more than one extra turn. I don't know, I get a little, I hope this hits hard. I don't know, right? I don't know. But maybe best case scenario, kind of a Georgian vibe there on that A1. I love the triple hitter with a chance of an extra turn is really, really good. 33% chance on an extra turn, especially on an A1, is really solid, so I love that. Seems really busted, especially like in areas like Fire Knight, but especially if the damage is good, maybe in other areas as well. But it does have synergy with some of her other abilities, namely her passive, which we'll get into in a moment here. All right, Sanguine Fisher. Her A2 ability is a 4-turn, 3 skill tomes booked down to 3. Attacks 1 enemy. Ignore, she's all about the 33s, the 99s, right? Very, it's all about divisible by 3 in this kit. You gotta take out your calculator, your protractor when you use Sanguine Maria. All right, attack 1 enemy. Will ignore 33% of the target's defense. Already, you gotta assume it's gonna be a big hit. You know, just by the wording here, you hope so at least, right? We'll ignore 99% of the target's defense, stone skin, and block damage buffs. Instead, if this skill is used on a turn that is divisible by 3. If the target's killed, increases the cooldown of all enemy skills by 3 turns. This cannot be resisted if the skill is used on a turn number that is divisible by 3. So, important caveat here. The way this words leads me to believe that we're going to get the 33% ignore defense all the time, regardless here. Let me just make this bigger on the screen. Is this too big? I don't know. We're going to get the 33% ignore defense, and if we kill an enemy, we're going to increase the cooldowns of all enemy skills by 3 turns. And then with a turn divisible by 3 is when we're going to get the 99% ignore defense and the stone skin and the block damage. Meaning, if this is her 3rd turn in the battle, or her 6th turn, or 9th turn, or 12th turn, you guys get divisible by 3, right? So the most important number, though, is 3rd turn, because we're thinking about her in an arena sequence, or in, you know, the beginning of the battle sequence. All right, Gore Scream, her A3 ability, attacks 1 enemy. Before attacking, removes all buffs from all enemies. This effect cannot be resisted by enemies with a number of buffs that is divisible by 3. Will attack all remaining enemies with less than 66% HP. Oh my word. Grants an extra turn if this champion is under a number of buffs that is divisible by 3. Oh my word. This is nuts. Gore Scream. Obviously, we need to know how hard these abilities hit, right? So we have a single target, remove all buffs from all enemies. So single target attack, but we're removing buffs from all enemies here. Can't be resisted if by enemies with a number of buffs that is divisible by 3, meaning like a Siffy, for example, right? Or if they're under stone skin and our bias goes or something like that. So 3 buffs, or 6 buffs for that matter, or 9 or whatever, they're not going to be able to resist the buff removal, okay? I don't know. You can't plan for how many buffs the enemy team has unless you're in Classic Arena, of course. Will attack all remaining enemies with less than 66% HP afterwards. So this skill is going to be better probably later on, because they're not going to have less than 66% HP unless you have a nuker going before her, but it could be good, could not be good. Grants an extra turn if this champion is under a number of buffs that is divisible by 3. So now, if we can kind of work things so that we know she's going to have 3 buffs on her at the start of the battle, right? Then we know we're going to get an extra turn after we remove all buffs from all enemies, right? And then we can go into her A2 ability. Granted, this won't be her 3rd turn yet, so maybe we go into her A1 ability. We hope we get an extra turn there, and then on the 3rd turn, we'll go in with the A2, we'll ignore everything and kill them and reset the cooldowns of all enemies. There is some potential here in this kit, but my gut is the majority of the comments are not gonna love this. I kind of like it. Maybe I'm crazy. I think I'm crazy. Say her name. I won't sing it for you guys. Sanguine Maria. Okay, each subsequent hit from this champion deals 33% more damage, up to 99%. Resets after the 99% damage bonus is applied. Each subsequent hit this champion receives deals 33% less damage, up to 99%. Resets after the 99% damage reduction is applied. So now she has this, again, escalating damage mechanic, which, again, if you can start things off by removing all buffs from all enemies and have 3 buffs on her, you can go in there and get the 99% extra damage off of the next move, right? Well, 1 hit there, so we need 3 hits, so at least the 3rd hit on this one. I don't know, this is intriguing. You still get the bonus even if you go into the A2, where you can increase the cooldown of all enemy skills, right? Really cool. It's kind of like Lazarius's alternate form with the cooldown on the kill on our A2. But we're not done yet. Whenever an enemy is revives this champion. There's no cooldown here either. So just straight up, whenever an enemy is revives this champion with 33% HP, 66% turn meter. After being revived, she places a true fear on all enemies for 2 turns. This debuff cannot be resisted or blocked. Oh man! Wow, that's I can't wait to fuse this champion. I don't use the term must fuse. I never have on this channel, but to me she looks really crazy. The damage though is ultimately going to be the factor that, you know, is she going to be a meta champion? She has the ability potential. You know, it's going to be kind of synergistic though. I guess I shouldn't say that synergistic. I should say she's kind of like not auto friendly, right? She's going to be a proactive offensive champion or live arena champion, Fire Knight champion, definitely with all these extra turns. Heck, if she hits hard enough with the potential AoE, right, where she attacks anybody under 66% HP, maybe even in areas like Hydra, this is on a 3-turn cooldown, if she can smack hard enough with the A2, right? So, man, there's a lot of potential here, but truth be told, just like any damage dealer that's a fusion, we don't know exactly what that truly is. Me personally, though, I am intrigued here. I think she looks really cool. I think her kit is weird, bizarre, but also intriguing. I'm sanguine on Maria. I'm gonna go for her. What about you guys? So really quickly, what does Plarium say about her? Undead Horde, Legendary, Attack, Force Affinity. We knew all that already. They say her curse was born in 3s. 3 cries for mercy, 3 drops of blood, 3 vows of vengeance. Once radiant and adored, she was betrayed by her own reflection. Now mirrors run red at her call, and every glimpse of her face comes with a price. Sanguine Maria's descent upon Teleria will stain the arena crimson, but the realm's fiercest beasts and monsters won't escape her wrath either. She'll stand by raiders in both PvE and PvP, aiding everyone brave enough to call out for her. The number 3 haunts her even before death. Every 3rd hit lands a devastating power. She can extend enemy cooldowns by 3. She gains an extra turn when the number of buffs divided by 3. There's no fleeing the curse she carries. With every cycle of 3, her power grows, and so does the whispers calling her back from the glass. This October, will you dare say her name thrice? There you go, guys. Let me know if you're intrigued as I am by this fusion. Much love, and as always, take care, guys.